1470 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You know, they say that what we do is entertainment, Robin. They say that even the news is a form of entertainment. Have you ever heard that?
Yes,
right,
yes,
okay.
I have.
So when we do a story about a murder, the word comedy never is part of the story. You never have a funny murder, right? Not in the news. But since we're related to entertainment, it's a distant relative of ours.
Yes.
But comedy and murder can actually work together in a play, and we have one happening in our community that we're going to learn about. It's called Something's Afoot, and in the studio to tell us about it, Celia Bills, and good to see you again, Celia. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm fine.
Make sure your microphone's on. And Jim Shore, I'm meeting Jim for the first time. Jim is the director of the Ocala Civic Theater's production of Something's Afoot. Good morning to you, too.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Nice to see you. Is directing something you like doing?
I've directed over 150 productions, so I'm
That
going
must
to
mean
keep doing it until I get it right.
Why did you direct were you an actor before you were a director?
I studied acting in school, and I thought I was going to be an opera singer for a while. And then in college, I decided I really liked telling other people what to do more than doing it myself.
Oh, really?
So I got into directing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I have this odd combination of skills as a pianist and a conductor and a stage director and a bit of choreography.
Oh,
and a
you've got
singer.
the entire. God bless you with the whole package, huh?
Yeah, so I decided it was. I'd just like to use all of those skills as a combination to help other people perform, and that's.
And this is a musical as well as a comedy,
this
right?
This is a musical. It's sort of a murder mystery meets the British Music Hall, because part of it is kind of grounded in seriousness, like 10 Little Indians, and one by one people disappearing and wondering what's going on. And then the other thing is it's filled with sort of British music hall numbers that appeal directly to the audience, that are sort of secondary to the plot, but very, very entertaining. And it was built around the great Tessie O'Shea, who was a British music hall performer, and as the Miss Marple character, who's the sleuth.
Oh, wow.
Sleuth in it. And so it really is a very fun show, in that a lot of times there's just these musical numbers that kind of come out of nowhere, just that are entertaining and sort of generic, and very much in the presentational style of British music hall. So it's just a lot of fun. And then there are all the nefarious murders that happen into it by all sorts of clever means and devices.
See, that's what I mean. Murder and comedy and music all going together.
Music going together. It's
could you ask
a great
for?
combination. Yeah.
Yeah, to your right, you have a beautiful lady we've known for a while, and she's got a beautiful voice. I hear her more than I see her, because we play at least one of the recordings with her husband over there, who's hiding in the corner.
Roger.
Yes.
So, what is your role, Celia?
My role is Lady Grace, Lady Manly Prow, and I play kind of a grande dame character who has a shady past.
Oh, really?
That'll be fun.
Do you have an accent? You kind of did.
I do.
You told me about it with a little different.
Yeah.
Just now, when you told me what you do, you were going into character, I think.
Just a little bit. I'd try to do my attempt at a British accent.
Oh, is it? Do you do a British accent?
Yes, I do.
How do you study for that? I've always wondered how this is done.
Well, through the years, I've done British accents in various shows, and many years ago I worked at Epcot in the United Kingdom doing improv street theater.
Wow.
You did?
I did.
Nice.
Wow,
4
that's
years, and we had to do a British accent, and we had some coaches.
Did we Americans first speak with a British accent? We should.
Well,
You
it
think?
depends. Yeah.
I mean, we came from there, right?
Right.
So I don't know what happened to it. It just all changed, huh?
We Americanized it.
Whenever I try to do a British accent, by the way, first it starts out like Ringo, and then it becomes Cajun. I don't know how come it becomes. I just can't hang on to it. I can't keep doing it.
Well, Celia is so multi-talented. She's been with the Civic Theater for a lot of years, and she's so funny. She's so dramatic. You really embrace all of the roles that you do. You're really amazing.
Thank you. I enjoy it.
Happily, I get to see Celia every night, and her husband knows about it. And
That's so fun.
and she has the most complex character in the show, the most mysterious. There's many sides to her, and one of it is a little bit of a naughty past that she has, and she has a very funny song that she sells very well that I think people are going to go just wild.
Oh, I wish we had a soundbite from that song. It sounds like a fun song. What's the song called?
The Man with the Ginger Mustache.
Yes.
Or Moustache.
Ginger moustache. Yes.
Oh, how long have you been rehearsing this? How long?
Since we had auditions in the middle of December, and then we started right in with staging. Actually, we staged a bunch of stuff around the holidays. It was a little difficult, with the holidays interrupting it. But then we really got on a roll right at the beginning of January, and we've had rehearsals every night, every weeknight since then. So it's a lot of clever, fine-tuned choreography, just little gestures and things, but everyone does them together. So we have to coordinate that all with the 10 actors that we have in the show. And then there's a lot of dialogue in this. For a musical, there's a lot of script to it. It's not often that there's so many book scenes, as we call them, where the actors speak rather than sing. And so there's long stretches of dialogue in it, just like a regular Agatha Christie mystery that you would see on stage. So it's a wonderful balance. It's a wonderful combination. You can sort of get two shows for the price of one.
Yes.
With this.
And Jim, you do some really hard-hitting musicals. You did Les Mis.
Yes, he
and
did.
that was so amazing. I was so impressed when I
thank you.
saw
I was
that.
very privileged. We had a wonderful cast. We have a wonderful cast for this show too, but we had a wonderful cast for Les Mis, and of course that's a completely different show. It's such a powerful message. It's all sung. There's no dialogue in it, and so that was a great experience here as well. And I'm so glad that they had such a good success with it at Civic Theater.
They added a week of performances for that.
It was huge.
It was a great experience, and the Civic Theater is really an American treasure. I mean, I've been to a lot of community theaters in the States. It's very well run, lots of talent. The technical staff under Tim Dygart are really exceptional and provide really top quality, professional quality scenery and lights and sound and all of the technical support. So it's really a top flight operation. It's such a privilege for me to be back working at Civic Theater once again.
Robin is a regular goer of this Civic Theater, so she's always the one who comes in here and tells us how the play goes and gives us the thumbs up, and she and her mom go regularly. But how do you reach out to the public when the title is very familiar, like Les Mis?
Yeah.
Everybody knew that one, so they kind of went. They might not have known the show, but at least they heard the title. Is this one different in that regard? Do a lot of people know this title? Because I never heard this title before.
Community theater goers might know it because it's very popular. It's such a small show that it didn't have a huge run on Broadway because it's just not that kind of show. When you pay big Broadway prices for something, you want to see spectacle. But community theaters took it because it's got really good roles for character actors, that is older actors as well as younger actors. It's a good mix. It's truly a community. It reflects the community and the different ages and experience levels. And so it's a very good fit for community theaters. And it's had quite a good run. Plus, I think the mystery aspect always sells any show because people like to come and guess the outcome, where they don't know where it's going by the end. And this certainly keeps everybody guessing up until the curtain. It really has so many twists and turns in it. So I think that marketing the mystery aspect, as well as the fact that it is a musical, that you're going to see some musical numbers. There's a full orchestra there. Hear some good singing, see some dancing. So I think it's a good package, and it's a very marketable show. And I know that anybody that sees it is going to enjoy it.
I like seeing productions I'm not familiar with because I've been on this planet for a long time, and you see the same thing, year after year since you're small growing up, and it's really refreshing to see something brand new.
I agree.
And it's brand new, but actually the Civic Theater did this in 1991.
Oh, we heard something about you.
So I've been around long enough.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Mary told us you were in it, right?
Yes, the same character.
How long ago?
24 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
And I've grown up, and now I'm actually the appropriate age to be playing the role.
Oh, so you are reprising this role?
Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh!
Very fun.
So
wonderful.
you this was obviously a show you knew about. I forgot that Mary told us that, but you just reminded me. So you knew about this one, obviously.
Oh, yes.
Does this particular show, have a place in your heart
Oh, definitely.
for some reason? Why?
Well, it was the first show I ever did at Ocala Civic Theater.
Oh, okay.
Not the first show I had ever done, but
here.
with the Civic Theater, yes. So I was a newcomer and really enjoyed myself doing that show. And it's just so much fun. And because it's a smaller cast for a musical, 10 people, you get to know each other much better. And I'm the only one from the first time through that is reprising it. And there's really only 2 other people that I've performed with before in this cast. So I'm getting a whole new experience in meeting
Oh wow!
more
Acting is
performers.
it's one of the weirdest things about acting, isn't it? You have this little family, very tight knit family, whether it's a movie or a play, and then it ends, and everybody
Scatters.
knows it's going to end,
Yes.
and then it's got to be sad every time. Am I right about that? Is it sad when it ends?
When I first started performing, I really kind of felt badly when the show was over, and you always felt like there's never going to be another show. This experience is over. And that is true. That little community, that little family that you bond with does scatter. Everyone goes back to their jobs and everything that they need to do. And you always say, we're going to get together again. And
It never happens.
And it rarely happens.
You see each
except
other on Facebook,
fortunately,
right?
being able to do it 24 years now, I've been able to keep a relationship with a lot of the actors.
The beauty of it is you always go to another show and you create another
Exactly.
new community. So that's one of the beauties of community theater is that you meet interesting people and you bond with them and you make new friends every show that you do. So it's always a new experience and you always have something new to look forward to and new friends to look forward
I
to.
have so many questions, but I have to take a break. So we'll take a little break and we'll be right back. And your questions are also invited, by the way. If you want to call in 622-9622, we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A nice day today, sunshine mixing with clouds, high 67 to 71. It'll be partly cloudy tonight. There may be a shower along the coast this evening. The overnight lows ranging from the upper 30s in a few inland spots to the upper 40s on the beaches. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high 64 to 68. And for Sunday, intervals of clouds and sun, high 71 to 75. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Real estate is the largest and most personal investment that any of us will ever make. Be sure to tune in Tuesdays at 10 a.m. when Bob Kennedy, owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty, will be answering your questions and discussing real estate. So remember, that's Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Call 622-9622 with your questions. It pays to be an informed buyer or seller. This is news you can use from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty and your friends here at WOCA. Greetings, good citizens. Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham at the 29th Annual Hogtown Medieval Fair, January 24th and 25th and January 30th through February 1st at the Alachua County Fairgrounds. You'll find medieval merriment for the whole family. Cheer on royal knights as they joust for their lady's honor. Watch a living chess match or enjoy performances by gypsy dancers and magicians. Then wander through the marketplace where hundreds of artisans sell their medieval wares. Come one, come all to the Hogtown Medieval Fair. All right, thank you for tuning into The Source. There is a play that starts, is it next Wednesday? Next Thursday, February 5th. It is called Something's Afoot. Sounds like it's funny. Sounds like it's mysterious. Sounds like it's got dancing in it. Celia Bills is in the studio to talk to us about it with Jim Shore, who is the director. Celia is one of the actresses and singers, and she did this 24 years ago, the same role. What was the character's name again?
Lady Manly Prow, Lady Grace.
So, Jim, I have a question for you.
Sure.
How difficult is it when you know that somebody did the part before? Do you have other people competing for that part, or was she a shoo-in?
I come from out of town. I come from Las Vegas, so I didn't really know many of the people that auditioned. The only few I knew that had been in Les Mis, one of them is in the show, and so I didn't know anybody before I came here. So I had no history with the show here. So everybody was fresh and new to me. But she was a clear standout for the role, and that's how she got the part.
Okay, but did you know in advance that she played it 24 years ago?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did know in advance.
Did that influence you at all?
No, not really.
Not really.
really.
huh?
When you're casting a show, you're not casting an individual. You're always casting a team of people. So it depends upon the team of people and balancing them out against each other. So you never cast a single part. But
So how did a guy from Las Vegas end up directing a play in Ocala?
Well, Mary Britt and I have been, who runs the Civic Theater, have been colleagues with the American Association of Community Theater for years. When I was the regional rep from Europe, when I was working there as the entertainment director for the Army in Europe, and so we had a relationship. And she said, "Well, if ever you get some time free once you've stopped working for the Army, and maybe you'll come and direct a show for Ocala." So that happened with Les Mis. And
You did the USO show?
I did. USO was part of what I did. Mostly, we had 17 community theater programs in Europe at the time. We had a tournament of plays each year, which with a big awards show like the Tonys, and a theater festival in the fall for one-act plays, talent contests, non-celebrity touring shows, celebrity touring shows, which often were with the USO. So it was a mixed bag of things, just a sort of total entertainment program.
I want to ask you something. I was watching an interview. I think it was with Tony Bennett. I'm not so sure, but one of those guys that's been around a while.
Yeah.
And he was telling a story about when he was much younger. He was just starting out, and I think he was acting in something, and he got into a taxi cab. And the taxi cab was an older driver, and he was telling. He said, I don't like you new actors and you new singers. He said, why not? He said, because you use microphones. He said, a real actor, a real singer doesn't use a microphone. That was the attitude back then.
Yes.
Obviously, we all use microphones now.
Yes.
So, I mean, is there anything about what you do in directing to get people to speak louder, or do you depend on the microphones?
No, we've been working a lot on style, although the actors will have microphones in this show. We've been working a lot on the style because it's very, like I said, it's very presentational. It's not melodramatic, but it is an older style of acting where the emotions are a little bit heightened, and so we have been working on that, even though they will have microphones. One good thing about microphones is that it helps actors be more subtle on stage, and in film, of course, they've always been used to being subtle and speaking very softly, but it helps actors be more subtle on stage so they don't have to be worried about hitting the back wall with every line that they say. So it's a sort of a mixed blessing. I like acoustic shows where nobody is amplified, but I understand the reality that since the 60s we've been going in this direction. And it is an assist to the actors, but they still have to have the right style, and they still have to have vocal presence. They can't rely on the mic to do the acting for them.
And does that give you more of a challenge as a singer, Celia? Are you pushing your voice?
No, I don't even think about the fact that I've got a microphone on.
You just belt it out.
I just belt it out and hope that whoever's in the sound booth is able to control.
Yeah.
So if I am, fading back to trying to do a nuance where it might not be as loud, projecting, that they're able to compensate for that for when I do belt it out, that it's not distorted because you have a microphone.
That makes for a great show. I heard that Karen Carpenter never sang loud. She had to have that microphone because she was very soft, but the microphone, of course, amplified it. And another thing I heard that on the Lucy show, I Love Lucy, the reason they're speaking so loud to each other is because they were all stage actors before the TV thing, and they were used to delivering it that way.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, microphones didn't come into the theater until Hello Dolly in the 60s, in that era, that they started wearing body mics. So that the old actors in the theater, Ethel Merman and the like, had to sing acoustically.
And some of those theaters weren't small. They had to fill that whole theater.
Yeah, and the orchestrations have changed over the years, because the orchestrations used to be relatively light, except for the accents at the ends of phrases. So they weren't covering up the singers when they were singing the phrases, but they would put little stings, so the brass stings or the saxophone stings would come at the end of phrases, or in the dance music when they didn't need to worry about covering up any singing. So that whole issue has changed too, where orchestrations are now, everything's amplified and mixed, so that the orchestrations can now be full all of the time, and they don't have to use that technique.
Do you ever take the stage anymore? Or?
I sometimes do, but just really rarely. I might be making a cameo appearance in this, but I'm not going to say how.
Oh, really?
In absentia, yes. So
a cameo? What does that mean, like a shadow?
I won't say how. Say one thing I left out before is that there's also a very clever design element in this from Molly Demers, the costumer, who had the idea to costume the characters like Clue. So they're all sort of color coded, like Colonel Mustard Seed and Lady Peacock
really?
in the game Clue. It's a very clever idea, and the costumes are going to be beautiful as well. I wanted to point that out in the production elements.
Jim Shore and Celia Bills are in the studio. Jim is the director, and Celia is the actress/singer in the show called Something's Afoot. Good morning. How you doing? If you put the headphones on, you'll be able to speak to a listener calling in. Let me give you a chance to put them on. Make sure you can hear me. If you can hear me, then you'll be able to
hear you. Yes.
All right. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Hello. I used to do some acting in high school. I enjoyed it, except there's a lot of politics involved. But anyway, that's ancient history. I just have a theory about. I just want to talk about film acting just for a moment. I think a lot of film actors who are very successful, very popular, are not necessarily great actors. They're not really great chameleons, but rather, for whatever reason, the audiences, time after time, respond to them in a positive way. For example, if you really think about it, to me anyway, De Niro plays De Niro pretty much every movie.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah.
Where a guy like Jeff Bridges, now that guy is a chameleon. He's amazing to me as an actor. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you guys think? Thank you. Those are pretty good observations.
That is a good observation. I think films allow for not only good actors, but also good personalities. And for example, John Wayne was more a personality and an archetype than he was a serious actor, but he was nonetheless very appealing and very successful in the roles that he took on. And then there are other actors, like you said, like Benedict Cumberbatch, who's really a chameleon and can play all sorts of different roles. So I think there are really highly trained actors like Meryl Streep that can really assume a lot of different personas. And I think there are personalities like Seth Rogen, who really is a commodity, is an archetype that you want to see him be that same way in each film, because that's what the audience appeals to. And it's also a matter of being photogenic or not. So the camera loves some people like Marilyn Monroe more than it loves others, and there's no explanation for that. There's just a chemistry that some performers can exude on screen that others don't.
That's an interesting observation too. And do we have that locally? I mean, do we have that same thing? Like, do you have local actors who always play the same type of role because they are what do you call archetypal?
Archetypes.
Yeah, archetypes.
Yeah, that can happen. Most actors like to be able to perform a diverse variety of roles and not be typecast in something. I'm just reading a book on Sal Mineo now, who was typecast as the young hoodlum for most, and was very successful at it, and was a very good actor. But he really desperately wanted to break out of that role and play diversified roles. So I think most actors, wouldn't you agree, Celia, aspire to
I
different
do,
roles?
and I think that there are some actors, you were mentioning Robert De Niro, where it became, that's what people expected of him.
Yeah.
They wanted to see that, so I don't think he was always given the opportunity to do.
So it's our fault as an audience.
I think it may be a little bit as well. And I mean, now that he's aged, we've been able to see him do some comedic roles that he obviously enjoys so much, not having to be, the rough guy all the time.
And Celia, you'd be able to answer this, I think, better because you've been here longer. Do we have anybody here that people always go to say, oh, I don't like him in a funny role, I like him serious, or I want him to be funny?
I think that everybody, a performer, would like to do a little bit of
right, but I mean, do we have any audience demand like that?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. I think the regulars that come to see the shows, when they see that a certain person is going to be in it, that they're just happy that they're in it if they enjoy their performance, and they don't really care if they happen to step outside of their usual. It's just frosting on the cake.
And because it's a community theater, a lot of times Robin will come back in and say, oh, I saw this great show last night at the Civic Theater, so she'll tell me about it, she'll give me the program, I'll look at the picture and say, hey, this is the plumber. Hey, this is the guy that fixes my air conditioner. Right?
Scott Proctor.
Scott, yes. Scott, yes, you knew who I was talking about. So it is kind of cool that happens. Yeah.
Yes, that's a great dynamic about community theater that you don't get in professional theater.
Something's Afoot. Okay, this starts on February 5th, and it runs through March 1st. So go online, I guess, to see more about it, and just go get your tickets.
They can go online, or they can call 352-236-2274.
And how long are you in Ocala for?
I am here through the premiere next Thursday, and then I have to go back to Las Vegas to start another project in Las
really?
Vegas, yes.
Oh, that
will
must
be missed.
That must be exciting.
WOCA is one of the corporate sponsors for this time around for
Thank you
Something's
for that.
Afoot.
Thank you.
So you're quite welcome. And boy, Celia, it's such an honor to meet you, and you are really one of the best ones.
Oh my goodness!
We
Thank
love
you are
you.
so versatile.
We love both of you, Roger. We love both of you. Thank you for coming in and sharing this with us. Jim Shore, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Very fun.
Pleasure
I'm
to
looking
be
forward to this. Call us if you need the information repeated. Are you going to the golf thing?
Going back to work now.
Work. All right. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Casting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Mitt Romney will be